Hey, I'm Sara with another episode of Refreshed. Now I'm on a mission to show you that making good food doesn't have to be time-consuming or difficult. So this is another recipe I promise to show you in under 5 minutes. This is fresh basil pesto. Now, if you've ever belonged to a CSA, Community Supported Agriculture, or even if you're just a backyard gardener, you know what an abundance of basil looks like. Sometimes you feel like you have it coming out of your ears. This is exactly what you should do with it. We're going to start with 3 cups of fresh basil leaves. That means you've taken the chunky stems out of there. And also 3 cloves of garlic, and just throw those in there. Then I also have 1/3 of a cup of pine nuts, and I'm going to put those in there as well. I'll put the lid on. I'm doing this in a Vitamix. Any sort of high-powered blender or food processor will do the trick here. Now I'm going to add in there juice of 1 lemon. This is one of those super easy recipes because it literally contains 6 ingredients. So it doesn't take a lot of time to gather the ingredients, and it certainly doesn't take a lot of time to make. It's another great one because you can either eat it now or you can store it and eat it later. I'm going to show you how to do that. Got my lemon juice in there. I'm going to season it with a little salt and pepper. You can just do this to taste. I like about 1 teaspoon of salt and then a little bit of pepper as well. Those little things like using fresh ground pepper as opposed to jarred pepper really do make a difference. It's like using fresh herbs instead of dried herbs. Whenever possible, go the fresh route. It's going to make your food taste so much better. And then you will become addicted to good food instead of bad food. You want to know the good thing about basil? In our body, it helps to prevent bacterial growth. It also, because of those polyphenols, is a strong antioxidant. But the coolest thing I think about basil is that the oils in it work as an anti-inflammatory the same way as an over-the-counter drug is going to work as an anti-inflammatory in your body. Just shows the power of real plants, real food. Okay, now because I'm going to be making this now but eating it later, I'm just going to put in half of my olive oil. I call for 1/2 cup of olive oil. I'm going to use 1/4 cup of it in here right now and reserve 1/4 cup, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that in just a second. Now I'm going to put the lid on and really let this rip. Okay, once it's nicely blended up, then you're going to take your pesto and put it in the container that you're going to be storing it in. I like to use glass jars. They actually work really well in the fridge, but they also work really well in the freezer. You could also use any other container with a nice tight-fitting lid. Pour this mixture into your jar. Look how beautiful the color is in that. I like my pesto to have a little bit of texture and chunk to it. If you want it smoother, just simply process it longer. Then, here is the trick for storing fresh pesto. Take the remainder of your olive oil and pour it right over the top of the pesto. When you put that in the refrigerator or the freezer, that olive oil will form a protective barrier and will keep the moisture locked in. Simply put the lid on tight and you're ready to go. This also makes a gorgeous gift, a housewarming present for someone, especially if you've grown the basil yourself. Then when it's time to serve it, stir in the remainder of that olive oil and also incorporate in 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. Serve it up a number of ways, tossed into pasta, spread onto a baguette with a little bit of goat cheese. Let your imagination run wild. This is one super quick, super healthy recipe that should become a staple for your family also. Enjoy.